And welcome here to Talk FCB, and welcome back here to the channel, guys, to the match preview between Barcelona and Alaves. La Liga round 21 is about to get underway, and we will be going over that game right here, Barca against Alaves, live from the Camp Nou on Sunday evening. As always, guys, the match preview is coming to you courtesy of the OneFootball app, which can be found, as always, in the description down below. A very good place for match stats, match facts, everything like that. If you're out and about, you can't see the game, it is a good app to keep updated with everything Barcelona and La Liga in general. Also, in my own poll today, many of you very confident. Literally nobody believes that we'll draw or lose the game tomorrow. Everybody thinks we'll win, and the majority of you guys believe that we will win by 3+ goals. So very confident. That's how it should be. And as we're going to come on to in this match preview, that's exactly, to be honest, what I would expect at the Camp Nou tomorrow evening. The game itself will kick off at 8:45 local time at the Camp Nou in Barcelona tomorrow. That's a very regular time that we've been seeing over the past few weeks. We've been playing at this kind of time against Sociedad, against Betis, and we do like playing at this time. I have to say, every single time on a Sunday evening you sit down and watch Barca, you get that feeling we're going to be okay. The early kickoffs, not so much. We don't usually start well in those kind of games, but the late ones on the Sunday, that's the kind of games that we want. And here, as always, is the time where you are in the world. Earlier on today, Valencia hosted Real Madrid at the Mestalla. Valencia in third, Real Madrid still in fourth right now, even though they beat Valencia by 4-1 in that game. Cristiano Ronaldo scoring from the penalty spot twice. Both tackles are actually given away, both penalties, by ex-Barcelona right-back Martin Montoya. A very poor performance from him and Valencia in general, to be honest. And Valencia, of course, the team that we will be facing in the Copa del Rey semi-finals. If that performance is anything to go by, we do not need to be worried, because Valencia today really weren't good. They look very poor in front of their own fans, and we face them next Thursday in that first leg of that Copa semi-final at the Camp Nou. And tomorrow, Atletico Madrid, of course, currently in second place, will host Las Palmas at home, certainly in a game they'll expect to win, and we are currently 11 points clear right now of second place, Atletico Madrid. We come into the game very good form, of course. We did lose that first leg against Espanyol in the Copa, snapping our unbeaten run in all competitions, but the most important thing for us, we overturned that in the week 2-0 on Thursday at the Camp Nou. We've had 3 days rest since then, so not an awful lot of time to recover, but it did build up our confidence again, kept it going after that emphatic win against Real Betis last weekend. Alaves, however, had 1 day more to recover, but they were taking the full distance on Wednesday in the Copa against Valencia. They went right the way to penalties in that game. They lost it on penalties, which is always very difficult when you go the distance, when you put in all that effort, and at the very final hurdle you fall down. So Alaves will definitely be hurt by that defeat, and it'll be very interesting to see how they recover from that, because obviously Alaves don't have a big squad. They don't have a lot of players to choose from. They might still be feeling the physical and mental effects of that game in the midweek on Sunday. And to be honest, Alaves this season have had their struggles in La Liga. They're 17th right now, just 2 points above the relegation zone. They've had a real lack of goals this season, just 16 so far in the league. And their top goal scorer is somebody that you guys will definitely be familiar with. Munir El Haddadi has currently got 4 goals and 4 assists, and he also scored in the week in the Copa against Valencia. He's been very good for Alaves this season. In a struggling team, he's there on loan. He's been doing very well, and he's actually contributed with those 4 goals to a quarter of Alaves' goals in the league this season. Whereas Lionel Messi, for instance, he alone this season has actually scored 3 more goals than Alaves had as an entire team. Suarez only just 1 away. He scored 15 in the league. Alaves have only got 16. So in Messi and Suarez, though, we've got players who are nearly scoring the same amount as full teams. That is absolutely incredible. The stats are off the scale with those two, and both of them, of course, on the score sheet against Espanyol in midweek to continue their really good form. Messi, fantastic in front of goal, fantastic in terms of creating goals as well. He is joint top of the assist chart in La Liga, and Luis Suarez definitely back in form, definitely scoring again, and looking really impressive indeed. And of course, don't forget, we are still unbeaten in the league so far this season. We did fall in that Copa del Rey game against Espanyol, but in the league, we're very much unbeaten, still without a loss, and still on course for that La Liga title. 11 points clear at the top, and gunning for that title. And in terms of previous meetings against Alaves, we've certainly got a decent record since they've been promoted back to La Liga in 2016. We've won 3 out of our 4 meetings against them since then, which does include, of course, last season's cup final. In the Copa del Rey final, we beat them by 3-1 on the night. But however, back in 2016, we do want to exercise a bit of caution here, because they came to the Camp Nou in 2016 and pulled off one of the biggest shocks, I would say, at the Camp Nou in very recent times. They won 2-1 at the Camp Nou after getting promoted. It was an unbelievable result result for them, a massive shock. So if anything, we need to go into tomorrow's game with that kind of thing in mind, because I think personally that's the only thing that's going to stop us tomorrow. A bit of complacency, not turning up in the right frame of mind, because we've got everything we need to win this kind of game. Home advantage, we're very, very good right now. We've got good confidence going. We've got the players, we've got the squad to deal with a lot of games we've had recently. Alaves don't have any of that. We should be going into this game very confident of victory, winning it comfortably, and moving on to the next game. The only thing that can stop us is our attitude. We've got to turn up tomorrow, play our game, and we'll be fine. And that's one of the big questions tomorrow for me. Will Ernesto Valverde come into this game and maybe rotate a few players? We've seen it in the past. Ernesto Valverde doesn't really like to fully rotate his team, which I pretty much agree with, but I just want to see what he does tomorrow. Obviously, we've got that leg against Valencia coming on Thursday. That's a two-legged tie in the semi-finals, and looking ahead to February, at the end of February, we've got that big game against Chelsea, of course, in the Champions League. Those kind of things are going to be going around in his mind. He's going to be wanting to keep everybody fresh, avoid injuries, which we have been getting a lot of right now. So Valverde, I think, should rotate a little bit. He was asked in his press conference earlier on about Felipe Coutinho. Would he start him in this kind of game? And I have to say, he did seem quite intent on the idea of starting Coutinho. He certainly didn't rule it out. He actually said it's definitely a possibility. Coutinho could start tomorrow, so definitely not ruling that out. I think that would be amazing to see. Coutinho came on in the week against Espanyol, and he was absolutely brilliant. He literally looked like a player of Barcelona, not somebody on their debut. Looked like he'd been there for years and years and years, the way he played, the confidence that he showed, and I think you could definitely start this game and really give us a big boost from the start. He was also asked in the press conference, Valverde, about Yerry Mina, whether he could play in this kind of game, and his answer to Yerry Mina was a bit more withdrawn. He said sort of every player could play their part. I'm not going to speak about specifics, whether he could start or not. There's a chance. So he didn't really commit anything on Yerry Mina, and I think if he does want to start Mina, I wouldn't be surprised to see it, but I'm just not right sure right now whether he fully trusts in him, whether we're going to start seeing him right now, or we're going to give him a long time to sort of establish himself and really get that experience before we throw him into a Barca game. If Valverde does count on him, if he does trust him in these kind of games, I would actually start Mina, because I think we could do with resting Piqué or Umtiti, but I'm just not right sure right now whether we're going to throw Mina in right now or maybe give him a bit more time. But I think we should definitely make a few rotations. I don't think we should make a load of them. I would actually stick with what we do all season long, basically make a few rotations, but start mostly very strong. And then when you establish yourself in the game, when you take the lead, when we have a lead, then you can sub players off, then you can bring some players on and freshen things up a bit and give some players some rest. But first and foremost, get the win, get the 3 points, continue our good run. And this for me is the lineup that I would personally go with tomorrow, not necessarily what Valverde will do, but if it was up to me, this is the lineup that I would put out there to take on Alaves, to get the win, but also to rest some very, very key players. Obviously, Ter Stegen will come back in as a goalkeeper. Cillessen was in for the cup game, but Ter Stegen definitely the league goalkeeper, of course. I would personally bring in Lucas Digne. He didn't have a great time when he played the last time, but I think Alba certainly needs a rest. He's a massively key player in this team, and for that reason, I think we need to take him out sometimes and give him a bit of a break. Semedo on the other side, he was completely left out of the squad against Espanyol. I think for that, he certainly deserves to come in, start this game, move Roberto into midfield and play both of them. Umtiti and Piqué, like I say, if Mina can play, if Valverde trusts him, I would play Mina to rest one of these two, but if not, we've got no other option than to play both of them from the start. Busquets in midfield will be one of those that if things are going well, if we're winning in the game, you can take him off, but I think it's really important to start the game with him and make sure that he's on the pitch to have that kind of impact. Roberto and Rakitic, I think Rakitic has been really, really good of late. I'd certainly leave him in there, continue that confidence, continue that quality that we've been seeing from him. And then the front three, if Coutinho is fit, which I certainly think he is, it wasn't a long injury. It's very similar to sort of Iniesta. He was out for a week or two and he sort of got himself back into the lineup. He shouldn't have to work all that hard to get up to match speed once again. And for that reason, and also what we saw against Espanyol, I would start him. If he's in the right frame of mind, if the medical team have given you the go-ahead, I would start him in this game. I think it's a perfect game to introduce Coutinho from the start. Against Alaves, he can score, he can assist, he can get some confidence going, and he can take the shackles off right from the very start alongside Luis Suarez and Lionel Messi, because those three the other night looked absolutely deadly. There were some brilliant combinations, particularly Messi and Coutinho. That could be a very, very exciting duo for the future and for the immediate future too. And of course, you know, there's options on the bench. There's players like Paulinho. Wouldn't be surprised to see him start tomorrow. There's Paco Alcácer. He's back in the squad now, so I think it would be important to give him some game time, bring him on for Suarez as the game goes on. In terms of the squad that Valverde selected, Denis Suarez is left out. Not really any reason for that. Same goes for De La Feu. Possibly both of those could be leaving the club this month as it stands. Andre Gomez was left out due to a slight illness. He had a bit of a stomach bug, so he's not going to play any part tomorrow. But other than that, the squad pretty much as we expected from Valverde. Alenia scoring an absolutely wonderful goal for Barcelona B earlier on today. He wasn't included. And also Jose Arnaiz, who is yet yet to actually get back to full fitness. So overall, I think tomorrow we've got to start the game with a strong-ish team. I would make a few rotations. I wouldn't overdo it if I was Ernesto Valverde. Our main priority right now is to get the points. We've got a good amount of time before that game against Valencia next Thursday, and I think tomorrow we're going to win, and we're going to win well. We're going to be clinical in front of goal. We wasn't really against Espanyol. We certainly was against Betis. I would personally like to get back to that sort of game. Make sure we're putting our chances away. I'm going to go tomorrow with Barcelona 4, Alaves 0. I said the same against Espanyol. We didn't quite get that far, but I think tomorrow, if Coutinho starts, if he's involved, I would love to see him get his first Barcelona goal or his Barcelona assist tomorrow at home at the Camp Nou in front of our own fans. So leave all your predictions in the comments down below, guys. Who do you think is going to start the game? Do you think that Coutinho should play from the start tomorrow? And what, of course, are your score predictions? Please do let me know all your thoughts and your views in the comments down below. I will look forward to hearing from you as always. And tomorrow, of course, I will be bringing you updates on the game, after the game, looking at it and going over it in all the detail I possibly can. So I'll see you tomorrow for the game, guys. Thank you as always for joining me today. I'll see you then. But until then, as always, Vesca El Barça. Barça, Barça, Barça.